Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. And this weekend, the Formula 1 2023 season kicks off. I'm very excited for it, as a lot of other people are too. And I've been doing a lot of F1 content on the channel recently, so I want to keep going with a bit more of it. I'm really enjoying it. I did my ATP Top predictions for this year last week, so now it's time for my F1 2023 season predictions. Hope you all enjoy it. Let's do this. Okay, so here's how we're going to start off things. I've got a list of where I think the teams and drivers are going to be finishing at the end of this year. So we're going to go from 20th to 1st on who will be the drivers. So we're going to start off with the drivers, where they'll be ranked at the end of this season. I'm not going to guess how many points they have because that's way too hard. So we're just going to guess the positions. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so to kick things off, we're going to go with P20, and I'm going to go with Logan Sargent. So, here's why I think Logan Sargent will be last this season. He's a rookie. He's driven in Formula 3 and Formula 2. The thing is, it's not like Oscar Piastri. Piastri won all his seasons in his rookie season, moved up to the next series in that first year. Sargent was in F3 for longer than he probably should have. I think F2, he really could have stepped up a year early than he did, but it wasn't so good for him, and he hasn't had the best of luck. He's going to be learning this Formula 1 car quite a lot with the Williams, and Williams, I don't know, they don't look the best. They look decent. I think they're going to have another season where they're, not in the midfield, but they could be around that back of the midfield area, and I hope for them to score some points, but I think Logan Sargent will be last. If he gets some points, that'll be really good, but I think last is where he'll be. For P19, I'm going to go with Alexander Albon. Again, that Williams, I don't think it's that great. I think Albon, he'll be ahead of Sargent, but he'll be struggling to, get started in the season. I think it's going to be an interesting season for Williams. They haven't been very good ever since Russell left, and Chucky and Gotifi and Albon, so it's been an interesting one, but I think Williams are going to have another year where they're not so competitive. I'm going to go with Alexander Albon for 19th this season. So that's 20th and 19th for the two Williams drivers I'm predicting. Next up for 18th at the end of the season, I'm going to go with Nico Hülkenberg. So before you attack me, here's why I think this is going to happen. He hasn't been in F1 for a while. He's not the best driver. I'm going to say that for sure. He had many chances to get on that podium. Just so many chances, and he binned it. So, I think he'll have some good results this season, but I don't know if he'll be up there competing at the top of the midfield for regular points every race. I think Hülkenberg will be 18th. But maybe next season, if he stays with Haas, he will improve because he'll have a season under his belt. It's like with Magnussen when he came back. It was except Magnussen was incredible. He just had a very good start to the season, and it was really good for him. But I think Hülkenberg will be 18th. Up next, this might be a shocking one, but I really think this is going to be the actual outcome for this one. I'm going to go with Yuki Tsunoda. Yes, he did finish in this position last season. I just don't really think that AlphaTauri has improved much, and Yuki had a very, very bad season last year. It was really not good for him. His results were quite embarrassing, to be honest. It was not good for him. He got barely any points. Only 12. Yes, 12 points out of a whole 23 race calendar, I think it was like 22. But this year, 23 races, I still think he's not going to do the best. So, Yuki Tsunoda, I'm sorry, but I think he'll be 17th. Now, a lot of similar results to last year coming in here. I'm going to go with Zhou Guan Yu. Yes, Alfa Romeo are looking pretty good. They are getting better. I just think he's had a season of experience, but he wasn't that consistent last year. Not really getting much point scoring positions, not really much points in general, but I think he'll get some points this season. He'll do well, but I don't really think he's going to be that challenging for regular points in the midfield. So I think this is where like the back end of the midfield slowly starts to close, and we get some interesting points here. So up next, we have in 15th place Pierre Gasly in the Alpine. I actually think Esteban Ocon will outscore Gasly this season on points. I think last year he didn't do too well. That car wasn't very good suited for him. But Alpine, they're looking decent. They're not the best, but not the worst. But I don't know. Depends if he gets a race ban this year. He's very close to getting it. So if he ends up doing that, that'll really cost him some points too. So I honestly think 15th will be his best this season. If not, maybe 14th. But I'm going to go for 15th right now. He's just... his driver's skill... he's going down a bit, but we'll see how he goes in the Alpine alongside fellow Frenchman Esteban Ocon, but I think Ocon will end up beating him for this year at least. Up next in 14th, we have Nick de Vries. I think he'll have a pretty good season. This year, rookie season, I think he'll do well. I don't think he'll get points every race, but I genuinely think race 1 in Bahrain, he'll have a pretty good race. Depends on how that AlphaTauri treats him. I think it should be pretty decent for the Dutchman, and it's like, it won't be consistent results, it won't be crazy out of the park, considering how, like, it's Italy, it was good when he was in the Williams, but I think that was a Williams car at the time, and he was quite lucky, and I think he'll get 14th, though. In a whole season, I don't think he'd be scoring P8 every race, so I'm going with 14th here. Okay, so this one might surprise a lot of you, but I've decided to go with Lance Stroll. Yes, I know that's very crazy to think Lance Stroll will get 13th this season, but that Aston Martin looks very fast. It impressed us a lot in testing, it impressed me especially. That car is going places, and I know you can't really tell with testing, but I think this weekend they're going to have a good start to the season. I think Aston Martin are ones to watch for at the top of the midfield. I reckon battling out with McLaren and... well, not really McLaren because their car looks crap, but battling out at the top of the midfield. And I think Stroll will have a good season to finish 13th. Up next in P12, I'm going to go with Kevin Magnussen. Yes. I don't know if Haas are going to do as well as they did last year with Magnussen. I think he'll have a good year, but not necessarily like last year with all the points in a lot of races and the consistency he had. I think Haas, they'll have a good year, especially with their interesting pit wall to save money and more performance on the track, but we'll see how that goes. I think Magnussen has got what it takes to beat Hulkenberg and beat those other cars that I've listed so far. So, drivers, I mean. But I think he's going to have a good one for P12. Now, in 11th place, to round out the bottom 10 of the grid, we have Esteban Ocon. Yes, I put Gasly a bit further down than him, but I think Ocon, he's been with the team for a little while now, since 2020, and it's been pretty good for him. It's been kind of meh. He got the win in Hungary 2021, which was amazing. Still happy about that. But I still think he has more to gain, more to improve on. I don't know how well he'll do this season on that, but I think 11th place seems ideal for the Frenchman. Alpine, I think they'll be right there. We are now halfway done through the drivers, with 10 more to go to predict. Here we go. Who will be in 10th place? I'm going to say Oscar Piastri. Now, I'm saying this because McLaren do not look very good at all in testing. Things can change. Right now, their car is just terrible right now. It's not good. He is a rookie, though, so it makes sense for him to be in this position. McLaren could have some comebacks later in the year, but I don't think for the first few races it's going to go too well for them. But I'm going to say Oscar Piastri will finish 10th this year. Up next will be P9 in the championship, who I think will be Valtteri Bottas. Yes, I think Bottas will have a good season to potentially beat Oscar Piastri. Yes, that's going to be a pretty interesting one. But Alfa Romeo, I think he'll have a good year with Bottas. Again, last year was really good for the team, everything. It was quite good coming into the team for the first time and doing insanely well in the first races. So I think Bottas will continue a good run and get P9 in the championship. Okay, so for P8 in the championship, I'm going to actually put Lando Norris. Yes, I think he'll defeat Oscar Piastri this season. Not defeat, well, he'll beat him. Basically, here's the thing. McLaren don't look very good at all, but they could come back. They have a lot of resources and money. I think they can come back. I just don't know when. But I think Lando Norris will have a good P8 position this year. Now, in 7th place, the end of the midfield, I'm going to put Fernando Alonso. Yes, the Spaniard joining Aston Martin. He's going to have a good year, I think. Him and Stroll together is going to be very good. He's going to be leading the team. He's going to get the most points in the team. But not only that, I still think Fernando Alonso will be at the top of the midfield this year. He will finish 7th place. That Aston Martin looks fast. And hopefully that's good for them. Because I think Alonso is going to have a good season ahead of him. So that is the midfield predictions wrapped up. Now we move on to the top 3 teams. The top 6 positions on who I think will be standing at the end of this 2023 Formula 1 season. So I've decided to go with, in 6th place, Carlos Sainz. Just ahead of his fellow countryman, Fernando Alonso. I don't know how well it's going to go for Sainz. I think 6th place is a good, ideal place to put him. He got his first win last season and pole position. I'm pretty sure it was only one, I can't remember now. But it's been really good for him. And I don't know how competitive he'll be this year. He'll get some good points and podiums, hopefully, but I think 6th will be the best for him. Now we are on to 5th in the championship, who I think will be Sergio Perez. Yes, this might be a very big surprise considering how Perez got 3rd in the championship last year. But him and Sainz, I don't think are going to have the best season this year. I think Perez will hopefully get a win or two, but I think this year's going to be quite competitive. I really hope it is between Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull, but I think Sainz and Perez will just miss out on that, like, top 4, top 3 sort of thing. So I'm going to go with Perez P5 here. Now that takes us to our top 4. In 4th place, I have put George Russell. He is a very good driver. He deserves that Mercedes seat, of course. I think he's going to have probably a better year than last year. I think he's going to get another race win this year. He'll beat Perez and Sainz. But I think it's going to be a consistent year. Mr. Consistency. He was very, very consistent last year. He had like 2 races or 3 races where he wasn't in the top 5. So that is crazy. So can he do it again? I think he's going to have a good year. But P4 will be going to him. So now we go into the final 3 places. I'm going to be tipping 3rd place to be Charles Leclerc. I am saying he will be 3rd. Ferrari, I don't think they're going to have the best year. I think they're going to be like sort of consistent, but they're not going to be like fighting for the championship like every race. I think they're going to have up and downs. But at the start of the season they could be fighting, but I don't know how well it'll be, how close it'll be. I'm just going to say Leclerc going for 3rd place. He'll be consistent, but won't be going for wins every race. Here we go. 2nd and 1st time. The 2nd place, I'm going to be going with Max Verstappen. Bit controversial, considering how it's like Red Bull look very strong, and he's done really well the last 2 seasons. But I honestly think we might have another person challenging him for this title again. Just like 2021, I'm going to be talking about Lewis Hamilton. Yes, I think that our 2023 Formula 1 World Champion is going to be Lewis Hamilton. He'll break the all-time record of 7 World Championships set by Michael Schumacher almost 20 years ago now. I think he's one of the biggest contenders to take out Verstappen and end the streak that started of 2 championships, one for the Red Bull driver. Verstappen can still win. He's my second tip if Hamilton doesn't win. But I'm going to say it now, Lewis Hamilton is going to have a comeback year, and I think he is going to become an 8-time Formula 1 world champion. Okay, so with that out of the way, this is the drivers' predictions. Let me know if you agree with this or not. There could be some fixes I could make. There could be some things I don't know about Gasly. He could be a bit higher up, potentially ahead of Ocon, but I'm not really sure. We'll see how we go. Anyway, I don't really know much. It's the start of the season. It's probably going to be nothing like this by the end of it. We'll see if I get some things right, but I'm not done. We're going to go and do the constructors' standings predictions. Okay, so here is my template here. We're going to be going from 10th to 1st in the constructors' standings of my predictions. Let's do this. Williams Racing coming at number 10. I've put them here because I genuinely don't think, as I said in the drivers, Albon and Sargent will be driving that well this year. It's going to be a shaky start for Sargent. Albon, he's had some experience. They could get some points occasionally. I just think they'll be taking last place at this season again. I've decided to put Haas at number 9. I don't know about Hulkenberg and Magnussen. I think Magnussen getting 12th in the championship will be good, but I think at that point I don't see how well they'll go this season in terms of constructor standings. I think it's going to be a 9th place for the American outfit. Coming in number 8, I've put AlphaTauri. Yes, this is an interesting one because here's the thing. I don't know what's going to happen if they get sold, because there is a likely chance that they could get sold because of Red Bull's thing that's happening right now with them. I don't know how well they'll go this year. De Vries and Tsunoda, 2 young drivers. They're not... I don't know. De Vries is like 26, 27 now because he's not really young anymore, but I think 8th place seems very ideal for them. With Tsunoda, he's going to finish 17th in my prediction. I think they didn't look the best in testing. They're going to be pretty mid all year, so we'll just see how they go. But I've put them 8th. Coming in 7th place, I have put Alfa Romeo. Yes. With Zhou, I don't think he'll be that consistent. That's what I said in the driver predictions. It's going to be interesting to see with that team. They're not going to be consistently scoring points every race. But Bottas, I think he'll do well. And I think Alfa Romeo will have a pretty decent season to get 7th place, I reckon. In 6th place, I've put Alpine. A bit of a shocking one, considering how they were like 4th last season. I don't know. With Gasly and Ocon, I think they'll do decently, but I just think that the results will be pretty mid this year. It depends on how well Gasly and Ocon go as teammates. We'll see how that turns out, but I think 6th place fits really good for that team. In 5th place, I have put McLaren. I just don't think they're going to do that well this year. Testing was horrible. It's like, that's why I put Lando in 8th and Piastri in 10th. They'll be in that midfield by the end of the year. I just think they're going to have a really tough start to the season. These first few races are going to be probably pretty brutal for the McLaren team. But I think that's where they'll be at the end of the year. Aston Martin for P4 at the end of the year. That's what I'm thinking they're going to finish. I think they're going to have a pretty good year, Aston Martin. They looked very impressive in testing, so I want to go with them because Alonso and Stroll could actually have a good year and bring back Aston Martin into a good midfield position and a lot of money, which is going to be good for future seasons. So I think they'll be going well this year into 4th place. Now we are into the top 3. I've put Ferrari as 3rd place. I don't know. I think it's going to be a little bit of a downfall for Ferrari this year. Leclerc P3 I put and Sainz P6. It's going to be pretty meh for them. They'll be at the top, like obviously. I think they're going to have a good year. I really want to see a Mercedes Ferrari Red Bull battle. I really hope this is what it turns out to be. And if it does, which is what I'm predicting, this is basically like close. I think Ferrari would be close. They'll just miss out on Red Bull and Mercedes, but it's going to be pretty good for them for P3. Taking the runner-up spot, I have said Mercedes. Yes. I think they're going to have a really good year with Hamilton potentially winning the title, as my prediction says. I think they're going to have a really good year battling it out with Ferrari and Red Bull. I think the Mercedes outfit are going to get ahead of that Ferrari, and it's going to be really good for them. Now, coming in first place is our 2023 Formula 1 Constructors Champions, Red Bull Racing. Yes, I think it's going to be a second Constructors Championship in a row for the Austrian outfit. It is very exciting, I reckon. It's going to be a good Constructors season, a very good season in general, because we have, I think, 3 teams fighting for it. I hope this is what this looks like. I think Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari. It's going to be a good fight. I really hope it goes well. And it's like, if one race, it's like one team doesn't do well, it's like, oh, now there's other teams in the mix. Like, oh, Mercedes got it. Oh, Red Bull's in the mix. Red Bull go out. Ferrari's in the mix. It's all massive, like, thing. So it's going to be really exciting to see this year, but I'm really looking forward to it. So hope these predictions are accurate. We'll maybe make a video at the end of the year going through them, seeing how accurate they are. Let's hope like they are. There we go. That is my F1 2023 predictions. It's going to be very interesting to see how accurate this is. But for the long season ahead, wait till November to see how accurate this is. I hope it is. But let me know if you agree with me or not. I think some of them could be tweaked, but you never know. Because first race this weekend, we'll see how things look after Bahrain, and then Jeddah, Australia, etc. All the races. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed it. Have a great day or night whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you all in the next one. See ya.